Gulls fans, welcome back to another episode of the 25 for 25 podcast. Got our second virtual podcast here this week, and for this week we're focusing on all things media, all things broadcast, and to kick things off, we have our very own director of media, Mike Basile, joining us today. Mike, how's it going?
Thank you, Eric. Good. Thanks for taking this virtually. Appreciate it. A little easier for me, but yeah, no, excited to be on. I've been watching all the episodes. Saw Coach Long.
There we
Excited to
go.
see him this summer. So yeah, big things ahead.
Absolutely, absolutely. Mike, why don't you start us off by just telling everybody, our fans, our viewers, our listeners, what you're doing right now. Obviously, we'll get into the goal stuff here in a little bit, but what's going on for Mike right now?
So I work at a high school. I work as their radio and TV director. So I run an after school program for kids to do TV shows, radio shows, stream sports games. So that's what I'm up to right now. I do some freelance sports broadcasting for some local colleges, Harvard, UMass Lowell, Holy Cross, Bentley, Boston College. Do ESPN Plus and some Nesson broadcasts throughout the winter and the spring, and then once it comes summertime, back into to Gulls baseball. But right now, keep it busy and obviously still getting some help, but running the media, updating, who's coming back on the staff, new staff.
Yep.
We're going to get into our player signings soon. I know that's around the corner.
Yep.
Season passes just went on sale, single game tickets. So we're getting stuff out. We got a brand new website, so a lot of exciting things.
A lot of things up ahead, a lot of things up ahead. Mikey, as we start looking into some of this goal stuff, right? How long and what year is this for you going into Newport this summer?
So this is going to be my fourth summer in Newport. I started the first year of the back-to-back championships, as most
Yep.
fans will remember it. So that first year was incredible. The team was absolutely stacked. Went into the postseason, all things firing, and then lost the first game of the postseason to Ocean State, and then won six straight and won the championship. So that was awesome. But yeah, this is going to be my fourth summer with the Newport Gulls, and it's just been an incredible ride. Started with media broadcast. Tom Lima's been there forever,
Mhm.
and he kind of took me under his wing and said, "Hey, on the broadcast side, this is what we do, this is what we need, and things like that." So been able to help him keep that operation going, and then take some of the load from the media side away from the op side, and kind of help run that too, with a couple of photographers, videographer, and social and marketing. And this year we actually upgraded to two social media slash marketing interns, one more of a graphic designer, the other more on the marketing side, so we can kind of integrate both and get more content out and get it out at a quicker pace.
Exactly. No, I mean, you look at all things baseball, all things community, everything's evolving here in Newport, right? I mean, we've seen that with the ESPN Plus broadcast moving up from that for during your first year. But with that, our staff's got to increase, right? An internship program's got to evolve and to be able to continue to stay relevant within this field while still providing these interns with the best opportunity for themselves possible. It's very important to be able to do that. So I'm very excited to see how that goes with a couple of more social media staff that we've been used to these past couple of years. But Mike, I think it's an interesting story how you got hooked up here with the Gulls, right? Because you actually had the connection with Mike Falcone, right?
Yes. Yes. So Mike was my buddy growing up. We went to elementary school together, and we both grew up in Plainview, New York, and came up all the way through college pretty much together. He went to not St. Anthony's. Oh boy. He went to a Catholic school, and I went to public school, but we still stayed buddies throughout. He wouldn't be happy I forgot where he went to high school, but we don't need to tell him that. But yeah, so we stayed buddies throughout, and I was actually out to dinner with a couple buddies from elementary, high school that me and Mike knew, and one of them just looked at me and said, "Why don't you see if the Gulls have anything open? It's not like you don't know Mike."
Yeah.
So in March, before I hopped on, I just texted Mike and I was like, "Hey, is there any need for any help on the media broadcast side over the summer?" And he said, "Yeah, let's set up a meeting." And we did. We set up a meeting, and a couple of weeks later, met with Chuck Pava, the general manager, president of the Gulls, and worked something out. And I was on board, and it was awesome. And obviously, haven't looked back since, and keep wanting to come back every summer. And it's just been a load of fun. But yeah, I knew Mike Falcone growing up, and those first couple weeks of the summer hit you hard your first year because it's go, go, go. So he was a big reason that, I was able to stay level headed and be like, okay, this is crazy, but it's fun, and you're doing things in the community for the community. I mean, the summer camp is one of my favorite things to go to. I only get out there a couple times a summer. I wish I could get out there a few more, but to see the kids and the players interacting and having fun is always one of the best things to be a part of. So that's a load of fun. And all the community events are so much fun. The Red Sox Foundation Day is always awesome.
Yep.
Um, there's so many fun community events, but yeah, being a part of those, that was a big reason when I spoke to Mike and Chuck that how big they are in the community, and what they do in Newport, and the give back and forth between the Gulls and the community and vice versa. It's so cool, and that was a big reason why I was hooked.
100%, right? I mean, it's been a reoccurring thing, the community engagement, the overall goodness that, the Gulls have been able to create over these past 25 years. It's a big in all honesty, it's the biggest reason for why this team is so successful, right? And I'll get to that, storytelling from the media aspect here in a little bit here. But I kind of want to dive into, the depths of the media department, right?
Yeah.
Who makes up the media, how many interns we have, how useful are them? But, tell us a little bit about, what and who is involved in that media department.
Yeah. Well, I'll talk about media and broadcast because the broadcast one is really, really cool because I think my first year we started with 6 broadcast interns. Now we have 10 plus.
Yeah.
And like you said, that just goes to show how big the show has gotten in Newport. Graphics, 7 camera show now with the Roman cam. Obviously, commercials from national to local. We need that staff, whether it be on air, behind the scenes. We need that many people. And sometimes it's just, hey, can you get a pregame interview? Can you get a postgame interview?
Yep.
And during the game, can you do the write up? And that might be someone from the media team, that might be someone from the broadcast team. But to have those extra set of hands, if one day we are fully staffed and everything is booked up, it's nice to know that everything's covered. If someone has to leave early or if something comes up, that we have an extra hand. If something goes down, we have 2 people that can check on it, things like that. So we've realized that the more the merrier, and it really stands true that, anyone who can help out, whether it's, hey, maybe you have an extra person doing interviews that day, or maybe you have a second person shadowing graphics to make sure that the next game it runs smoothly as well. But that's been a huge help to us. And, if Tom or I have to jump out of a game, you feel comfortable knowing that, hey, you can put somebody there and they can run the show
Mhm.
with the experience that they've gotten. And on the media side, like I said, usually we've had a couple photographers and a social media slash marketing intern, and then we always have some help with somebody on the ops side who is maybe running the goalie run, and they can
Yep.
help take a couple photos or take a video of it. But this year, like I said, we've wanted to add a little more to our media team. And we added a second person, one more focused on the graphic design side, who has a good bit of experience in that and has that creative eye, right? Knows where to put the scorer, knows where to do this, and that's huge. And then on the marketing side, someone who knows how to hit certain aspects. Hey, we want to reach this group to hit our kids game, whatever it may be, right? And then they come out and help us and tag team the graphic together. So I think it's a quicker way to get content out. And quite frankly, the media position is very difficult at social media marketing because you got to be alert for road games and home games. And this is a way that we can make a schedule and say, all right, you have these 3 games, you have these 3 games this week. So that way nobody gets burnt out by August. It could be a very long season. Obviously, as we said, these guys play almost every day. So the
100%.
players, I'm sure, are tired in August, and staff feels the same way.
Absolutely. No, I mean, it's especially for these players, right? It's they're playing 50, 60 game seasons and then they're coming down here for the summer and then our interns, right? They have a couple weeks until the season starts for them, obviously coming off of their spring semesters, but it's go, go, go every day. But it's as stressful as it is equally rewarding in aspects. And I think a lot of that, again, just, we're lucky because of how successful the Gulls have been in recent seasons. But kind of going off that success, Mikey, I think it goes without saying, and speaking for our own team here, we are proud to have one of the best media and broadcasts in the NECBO, right? I think that comes from a lot of obviously before your time, Tom Lima, obviously being here since day one, his brother Nick Lima really building it up from the ground level. coming in 2023, Mikey, what was that, what was learning the philosophy like, right? Because 2023 was the first year that the Gulls had integrated ESPN Plus into their broadcasts. So how did that, maybe you had a little bit of an easier time because it wasn't a full transition for someone like yourself. But how did something like working with ESPN Plus really improve the operation of the media side of the Gulls? And what was that just learning that philosophy like overall?
Yeah, I think having Tom there for so long and having a broadcast that was ESPN Plus quality for years, um, and just that turnover was so easy to ESPN because Tom had done it for so long where he set such a high bar for the broadcast that we were pretty much at that level. We just needed to put in ESPN Plus graphics
Hmm.
and we needed to run commercials nationally and through ours. So those were really the two big changes. Other than that, it was pretty much business as usual for us because of what Tom had laid the groundwork for, where, hey, we're at this level. That's why we're saying you guys are getting the first ESPN Plus game. So that first game, PJ Moynihan came out there, who's our support, and he's been great throughout our time and with ESPN Plus. But I'm pretty sure Sean McGrath was there too because I remember him taking a picture of me running out with the ladder to move the camera at one point. So, but yeah, I mean, it was a little hectic, chaotic that first game, but these last couple of years we've been on every game ESPN Plus, and it's kind of flowed nicely. And this point, it's pretty just show and go with us. We got it. We're going. We're ready. But yeah, those ESPN Plus games that first year, because I believe it was three was the pilot program, and those three games I remember getting to the field a little earlier and just
Yep.
being a little more stressed. But now it's just something we're used to. Call ESPN when you get to the field. Make sure everything's up and running. Record our pregame show, and it's just like Tom's been doing for years. We've gotten better with things, but
Mhm.
nothing's really changed a bunch
Yeah.
because of how much he had done prior to the ESPN Plus broadcasts.
100%, right? And like we keep saying, everything keeps evolving, right? Because, I look
Yep.
at something like what we tried to integrate a little bit more on the media side last year was like a specific ESPN Plus graphics designer where we're trying to mimic as much as we can see of these, main ESPN broadcasts themselves, right? How does, and again, this goes more on the intern side of things and the staff assisting with these operations, how are we continuing to look for people who continue to even raise the bar, like we say all the time here in
Yeah.
Newport for ourselves, right? How does that, even those little nuances, just play such a vital role into the success of the media team?
Yeah. So in my time there, and I know Tom's had this luck and success too, I'll say, because there's a reason that these interns want to come back. But I mean, on the media side, and I know on your side, on the upside too, we're bringing back quite a few who
Yep.
want to come back, be a part of it, and that's huge. That means that first summer meeting that we have, five or six interns on my side already know the groundwork. They already know what it's like to work a season of summer baseball. And not only that, that first day of training, they can
Mhm.
help us train, and that can get done obviously a lot quicker, and it can get done a lot it could be a lot more involving for everybody as it's not two people, Tom and I talking to 11 or 12, it's
Mhm.
four or five of us talking to four or five people. So
Right.
it's a lot better. It's going to run a lot smoother, I think, this year. We have Matt Benestead coming back, who was a big
Mhm.
part of our broadcast team, Veronica Borelli, who was our sideline reporter, Joe Dupuis, who was a whiz behind the scenes on the production side. He was very good on air too. But I mean, he was running graphics last year left and right. Ryan Cherdoff's coming back as well. I mean, we have a lot of people coming back to this team that we are very excited about. Matt Clements,
Yep.
also, who was a young up and coming broadcaster.
You got
So
Chevy, Ryan,
it's
Ryan Shedroff, right?
yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun, and we're very excited. So, like I said, that's five people right there coming
Mhm.
back, and you know, on our side last year we had 10 people, so that's half of them coming
Yep.
back, and obviously a couple were seniors, a couple graduated. So, it's really nice to see. And then on the media side, we have Malak Muhammad coming back, who has been with us now going on 3 years.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that's the experience that we look for. And then, like I said, that they can help lead by example a little bit. And that's huge to have someone, again, who just knows, hey, camp's on Tuesday. That's when X amount of players are going. let's get some photos that day, things like that. It's those things that we know. Red Sox Foundation Day, we know that's a big day. We know a couple people have to be there early for that, get some content. So it's always something that we're doing. It's always something that we're working on, is to try and get people to enjoy this program, want to come back, want to be a part of it again. And I'm happy we're seeing that.
100%. Having the people that want to be here is the biggest part of it, right? Because we're seeing so many people, especially this year, wanting to come back and to be able to have staff and interns that want to reinvest their time here, right? Where, maybe they're giving up a summer, right? We don't
Yeah.
pay the interns, right? It's tough. It's just, that's the way it is here in Newport. But I think, just from our perspective, right, it makes me feel good that we have staff we're bringing in that, this organization means something to them and they want to continue to be a part of it, continue to raise it to that next level. So it's just something that, and I know you, as well love to see.
Yeah.
Talking about this community stuff that we hit on in the beginning of the episode, Mike, from a broadcasting perspective, obviously we touched on, how, we have continued to just continue to grow and continue to evolve and be able to bring out the product that we do today. In terms of the community side, and I'm talking more about social media stuff, the summer camps, the Red Sox Foundation days, the inclusion night, everything that is, non-baseball related, the reading programs that we'll do, the reading day at Cardinals Field. From a storytelling standpoint, how important, is all of the social media, the photography linked to all of that storytelling aspect?
I mean, it's 100% like we talked about Red Sox Foundation. I mean, Inclusion Day is a huge one. It's so much fun. And to get out there and show everyone having that good time with Gully, some of our players, our staff gets involved in the yoga. We play a wiffle ball game. It's just so much fun. And to have those memories captured and, so people can go and see, wow, that looked awesome. And, they could say, hey, how can I be a part of that? How can I help with that possibly? Things like that. That's the biggest thing for me. So while we're storytelling 100% and showing that, hey, look, we're having a great time doing things in the community. We love being involved. We also want to show that, hey, look, this is an opportunity for more of the community to be involved. Is there something you want to do with the Newport Goals? Do you want to help out with certain days, certain games, things like that? That's the big reason for me why I think it's so important to get it out right away. The content, because you want people to see and say, oh, hey, wow, this inclusion day looked awesome. They did yoga, they had pizza, they had breakfast, they had a ton of fun. They played wiffle ball. So same thing with the Red Sox Foundation. Oh, they're in town and the kids are running the bases, home run derby. It's just so cool. The reading program, to have these college athletes go into the schools and get pictures of them there, the kids having so much fun with them. And then obviously summer camp is a blast. Just to see the kids learning while not even realize that they're really getting better at their craft. I know that's what they're there for, but they just think they're having fun with their friends. But at the end of the day, to see them improving and getting that throw a little better, maybe making some catches they wouldn't have earlier in the year. It's really fun to see our guys helping these kids try and reach where they are as college athletes one day.
100%, 100%. And now that just continuing to talk through this year, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the broadcasting and play-by-play stuff, right? We have a little bit of a unique situation here in Newport, right? We have some of the other teams, the NECBL, they have the lead play-by-play guy, and then they have a second chair. What's the structure of it here in Newport? Just tell our fans a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we do a three-man booth. So you're watching Sunday Night Baseball at Newport. We like to have a second person on the Newport side. Our play-by-play broadcaster is so entrenched in the game that, yes, he's giving great information about the team and things like that. But it's nice to have that second person on the Newport side there who's at every home game, probably goes to a couple road games just because he loves the team so much, or she loves the team so much. I mean, you get just that little bit more that helps us out. So, our play-by-play broadcaster says, Randy Seymour line drive to left field is 13th double of the year. And then our second guy could say, yeah, his third in as many games, something like that. He might just have that little extra bit to help our play-by-play broadcaster, or, and get that information out there a little bit better. So we've went with the three-man booth, and it's good for a roundtable discussion. Pre and it's good for back and forth. And I think it brings a little aliveness to the broadcast, where you could have that little friendly competition almost
Yep.
with the away broadcast, where,
Yep.
at the end of the day, everyone wants to see their team win, but everyone wants a good product, a good broadcast, and that's really what everywhere is searching for. When last year Gavin would go to wherever it may be, Keene, the Vineyard, wherever it is, you want to see your team win, obviously, but at the end of the day, you're looking to put out a good broadcast for the league, and that's everyone's one common goal. So what we do there is just try and get that broadcast a little more life, a little more going. As we talked about, it's a long summer, and not every game is going to be a 3-2 walk-off game, right? You
Yep.
can have some games where it leans a little one way, and you're looking at a 6-run game in the eighth inning, and you're doing some filler. You're talking upcoming schedules. You're talking standings, and to have that other person with some input is always a little nicer.
100%, and for that piece, I look back at our last regular season game against the Schooners, right? When we got freaking absolutely boat raced and we're
Yes.
giving up 20 runs before the game's even over, right? And
Yeah,
Gavin's
we got
got
to
to
save our pitchers. We got to save our
exactly,
pitchers.
exactly. But it's that same thing you talk about, right? Gavin
Yeah,
probably had to find some filler stuff to talk to. Obviously, there's nothing exciting to talk about from a goal standpoint when we have
yeah,
our first baseman, Petey Kraska, out there on the mound,
yeah,
hucking it as well as he can. But it's all good stuff. It's all good stuff. The play-by-play stuff specifically, though, I think it's very unique because what people might not realize is that that's probably the sole position we will spend the most amount of time
yeah.
of looking for and finding and fine-tuning every summer. I know we have had some wonderful, wonderful play-by-play broadcasters, especially since your first year here, Mikey. What I believe with Gavin being the All-Star broadcaster last year, that was our second All-Star broadcaster in the 4 years that you have been
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, well, technically three, because this is my fourth summer. So,
Gotcha.
yes, I mean, yeah, it is. It's been awesome to see that. And I think a big reason why is, the time that you said that is taken to go through, and then also when they get there, they're ready to go. They're prepared. The things that they do behind the scenes, Sam Reese, who was there 2 years ago, we went out to breakfast one morning, and he just showed me his notes, his charts, everything that he does pregame, and he gets home from the road game at 2 a.m. sometimes, and he's in bed updating his charts before the next morning. So, I mean, that just goes to show the work that they put in. And when we go and hire someone, I think one of the things that we look at is not necessarily just how good they are. Do they have that cadence, that voice? We want to see that work ethic. And a lot of times, in the first couple minutes of a conversation, I think you and I agree here, you can get that feel of, is this guy a go-getter? Is this guy
100%.
going to be the guy who's going to be able to make it all these games? And that's a big thing too, because everyone can say, hey, yeah, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there every game.
Yep.
I'm going to make it happen. But it's a lot different when it's mid-July and
Mhm.
you've just called 6 games in a row, and now you got a doubleheader the next day or something. So
100%.
you need someone who's dedicated and ready to go. And I mean, Eric, I think we get 100+ applications easily, right?
Oh,
For this
I mean,
play-by-play position.
Mikey, we started looking at applications for this media team, what, September?
The
A couple
day
weeks
the
after
day
our
after the
season was
season
over.
ended, it felt like. Yeah. All kidding aside, I mean, after they announced the end of the year awards, it feels like that
A
next
flip
season is
switch.
really starting. Yeah.
100%.
A flip switches, you get emails, you get this and that, and it's crazy. But it's great to see. I love seeing the go-getters and things like that. But yeah, I mean, just through those, we probably interviewed 30, 40 plus interns for that possible position. And then just on the broadcast team too, there is so much more interest now behind the scenes that from when I first started. When I first started, a lot of our behind the scenes kids were kids who wanted to work for the Newport Gulls, maybe wanted to be play by play, didn't get the position, but still wanted to help out and do some color commentary, things like that. But now we have Sorka Lewis coming on board this year, who is behind the scenes, wants to do production, wants to work in the graphics, things like that. And that's so exciting for us because we need people who are laser focused behind the scenes on that and focused on getting the best product out there. So it has been awesome what we've seen and the development of this team the past couple years.
100%. And it's the whole teamwork aspect too of it, right? You know, it's not just the media team coming together to help the media team. It's the media, it's the ops, it's the grounds crew volunteers, it's the
Yep.
souvenir volunteers, the ticket. It's literally everybody. I mean, it's Chuck out there sometimes,
Yeah.
right? You'll see Chuck out there lining the field if we're freaking slam packed, right?
Yep. Chris
But it's
Patsos
just
will be out there.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. He will have a rake in his hand at some point in each
Yeah.
summer, I can guarantee it. It's just it's that whole family-centered culture that the Gulls just per true out every
Yeah.
season, right? And it goes so far beyond the players, it goes so far beyond the community. It's inundated in our intern, our staff, and our volunteers as well. You mentioned something that I like. It was just a small little quote, just a little bit more. And I think that just quantifies everything that the Gulls do, whether
Yeah.
it's the kids in the media side wanting to do just a little bit more to help elevate not only the Gulls, but their own professional and development as well, right? You know, but it's at the same time, what are we doing inside of the media team, right? We're doing these
Yeah.
pregame shows on YouTube. We're doing these postgame interviews. We're doing these, even look at last year, right? We're doing mid-game interviews with Bronson Arroyo. We're
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
mid-game interviews with Leighton Harris, one of
Yep.
our top prospect award
Yep.
recipient in the NACBL this year, right? Just a little bit more completely defines what we do. So
Yeah.
how important is stuff like that to this
Yeah.
media team?
I mean, you probably are sick of hearing me say it because I say it to everybody we talk to that the internship is what you make it. And that's 100% true. You can have someone who comes in and maybe just wants to run a camera and that's what
Mhm.
they want to do. And that's okay. We're not saying that's not
Yep.
okay. That is okay. But then you have people who come up and say, "Hey, I want to write a feature article on Michael Kovala, who pitched here, pitched there, things like that." And
Mhm.
that's what you want. You want
Yep.
the extra stuff going out there. So maybe on a day that a game gets rained out and you think, "Hey, we don't have any content." Hey, yes, we do. We have that Michael Kovala article. Let's string some pictures of him together and let's get some people looking at that and get some eyes on that. So that's the big thing for me. And again, you touched on it, but it's so true that the ops team meshes with the media team, who
Mhm.
meshes with the grounds team. And it's like they're one big team. So we get some help from the ops side, as we said, where, hey, if one of our interns can't get down and take a quick video of the gully race, maybe one of your guys gets it for us or something like that. And we come back down and we get it up and we get it on Instagram. So the things like that just doing a little bit more is so important because if each person does a tiny bit more, it becomes a whole lot more. And that's something that we're working on, and we're working on even a mini pregame show on Instagram because the YouTube one we can't obviously put the full 10 to 12 minutes on Instagram, but we're working on a little mini pregame show for Insta. So we'll have our full pregame show on YouTube, and then we'll have a little one with a quick interview on Instagram, and we'll have that this year. And it's just doing a little more each and every year. Raising the bar is the motto, and you could say it a lot of different ways, but we look to raise the bar every single year, and that's the hope again moving forward to this summer. And we've taken steps to do that, as we said, with those returners that are awesome. Then a little more help, which will take things a long way. So really excited for the summer ahead and continue raising the bar here.
100%, 100%, right? And it's like you said, right? You know, when we're talking to applicants, when we're talking to our interns who we know who are coming here for the summer, it's always, hey, like you said, it's what you guys are getting out of it,
Yeah,
right? And it goes beyond that as well. You know, something I'll say to my kids on the ops side as well, and it's nothing against anybody who's ever worked for us before. But I want to push them and I want them to get the best out of everything. And their time here is, you know, be the best whatever position you're in that the Gulls have been, right? You know, be the best director of game day operations we've ever had. Be the best play-by-play broadcaster we ever had. Be the best damn camera operator this team has ever had, right?
yeah,
Because if these kids have that mindset, not even coming in here into the summer, but prior to even getting here, and we can see that when we're talking to these kids during these interviews, that's going to elevate them to a whole nother
yeah,
level. And then it's going to give these interns something else that they can work towards, right? Because then it's those interns that we can give a little bit more of a responsibility to, and they can
yes,
continue to build on that throughout this entire summer and get the most out of everything, right? And I think that's just an amazing part of just the benefit of working here in Newport as well.
yeah,
Um, looking obviously being the 25 for 25 podcast being 25th anniversary based, you know, Mikey, like individuals like myself and you obviously been here, for far less than the amount of time that the Gulls have been around. But if you could just tell me what a 25th anniversary means to you for how long you have been here, how much you've dedicated your time to the Gulls, how special is this 25th anniversary going to be this summer? That Hall of Fame ceremony, how special is this whole summer going to be?
Yeah, I mean, for starters, it'll be my second Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame was a ton of fun, so I'm
Yep.
excited for that for sure. It's always exciting to see who comes out and who's there. And with it being during the summer this year, I think it brings a little more excitement because I
100%.
think you have the hype around the team. Not to say the one in the winter isn't a load of fun and we don't get it absolutely packed because it was,
Mhm.
but I think with the hype of the season going on and I think you're just going to feel it there's a lot of interest for it. And then the
Okay.
25th anniversary, I mean, just goes to show how much we keep talking that the Gulls have done for this community in the community. Just that they've been around forever, it feels like, and they've been such a successful franchise, obviously with the NECBL championships, but more importantly than winning those, it's the success in the community. And you go around town on a game day, and people know the Gulls are playing. We get to the field early. People ask us every time we're there, "Hey, what time? 6:35 tonight? 6 o'clock. Gates open at 5." Yep, yep. And it's nice to see that the excitement and just knowing that for 25 years the Gulls have been such a big part in Newport, especially over the summer. It's such a popular destination for families, friends to meet, and then they can come see some really good baseball. And people tell me, hey, I came one year, didn't even know the Gulls were here, and now I've been coming back every summer to see a game. And Cardines Field brings that element of, hey, this is niche, this is really cool. The
100%.
dugouts on the same side. So I mean, the Gulls have done everything right, and it's so exciting that we're going to get to celebrate 25 years this summer.
100%, 100%. And just like we're trying to get every single player back down here, every single coach, every single host family, right? We want to see all of our staff back. We want to see everybody
Yeah,
from the old media teams. We want to see everybody from the old ops teams, right? Let's get everybody down here. Let's make this 25th anniversary as amazing as it could be. And just to touch on the Hall of Fame real quick too, right? I think what's going to be really special about this year, right? When we look at the Hall of Fames we've done in the past, they've been a little bit more, not private, but a little bit more niche, like we talk about, right?
yeah,
Usually, more inclusive of, inductees' families, their friends, close people to the Newport Goals organization specifically. But, this Hall of Fame ceremony is going to be at Cardines. It's going to be open to the public. Anybody who wants to come in is going to be able to see it. So it's going to be,
yeah,
it's going to continue to connect that community aspect to the Goals this summer. It's
yeah.
going to be really, really awesome to see.
Yeah, and that's what we talk about the hype for it. I mean, once that starts getting out there during the season, and we're going to see so many more people because announcing it at games, right? Maybe a commercial for it we'll throw
Mhm.
in there. But in being in Newport and being able to even that word of mouth, right? Somebody asks you, then they tell their friends and family, and then it spreads. I mean, no matter how big media gets, word of mouth will always be the best marketing tool.
Mhm.
And we're going to have that this summer, where in years past, you could maybe announce it in August and say, hey, our thing, or it's coming. But again, you don't have that word of mouth. You don't necessarily have people live in Newport just in the summer. It, it,
100%.
it's it's just how it goes. So tons of people come back, yes. But this summer, with it being over the summer, I think we are going to see a packed Cardines field for that.
It's going to be very exciting to see for sure, Mikey. Anything else for our fans or viewers before we wrap this up today?
No, I just, thank you to obviously everyone who supports the Newport Goals, whether it be watching our games on Plus, coming out to the stadium. I mean, it's so awesome interacting with the fans on the media. When questions, hey, can I get this at the goalie shop? Can I do things like that? It's nice to see that people are that interested and that on board with the Newport Goals. And it's nice to have fun with the fans, replying to some comments and things like that, whether it be me or our media intern. But I always just think it's fun to be a part of. And I think this summer we're going to go for that a little more. We're going to go for the little more fun side of the media, a lot of player things, a lot of videos with the guys. And I think the fans love to see that, especially them in their element. We'll do maybe another one or two day in the lives, I'm hoping. We had one with Tyler Hare go out, who was obviously a big goal for those two championship runs. So I think we'll do that with some guys this year and really make it feel like, hey, these guys are they're baseball players, they're college athletes, but they want to interact with the fans. They really do. I mean, they show it after games, they show it before games, but let's get them on the media side as well. So that's something we're going to work on. But no, thanks, Eric, for having me on. It was a blast, and I'm ready for the summer. It's a little cold here
Do it.
today.
Let's do it. Absolutely. Mikey, appreciate your time here today. Gulls fans, I appreciate you all as well. Thank you for tuning in. We will be right back here, same time next Monday with another episode of the 25 for 25 podcast. Thank you for tuning in, guys. We'll catch you next week.